Okay, so hey, I'm Eddie Dietz with Lefler's, and we're back for our second Facebook Live. We had a bunch of feedback off of our first video about hidden damage, which was fantastic. And if you have any comments on this, or if there are any other topics that we're not covering that you want to hear, please put it in the comments and we'll be sure to address those. This time of year, we see a lot of different issues with water leaks, and a lot of it has to do with the type of weather. We get this in the spring also. So spring, when it's really wet out, and wintertime, when we're getting a lot of snow and morning ice and things like that that's melting, and then it runs across our top of our car, we see a lot of water leaks. And typically folks will show up and say, hey, my windshield's leaking, or I have a puddle on my floor, and they immediately think that the front glass is leaking. That's not always the case, and I want to show you why and how things work. The more you know, the better armed you are to handle things. So as you can see, this vehicle has a sunroof, very popular, and a lot of vehicles today do. The way a sunroof works is they're designed to leak. When water comes across our vehicle, it gets into this groove that works around here. So what I want to do is I want to put just a little bit of water in this just to replicate like what rain would do. So if we had a little bit of rain, I'm just going to pour this in this trough. So this is just like ice or snow would melt on your vehicle, and it's getting in this trough. So can you come around, let me show them what it's doing here. So from pouring that little bit of water on the sunroof, you can see now that it's actually running out underneath a vehicle. The reason for this is up inside this vehicle, there are drain tubes and holes. It works exactly like the gutter on your house. So when water comes in, as it's designed to do, it gets in there, it runs through a tube, comes down through the vehicle, and runs out on the ground, just like the gutter on your home. What happens is, from not using it, people say, well, that can't be the problem with my car because I don't use my sunroof. Well, you're still getting debris up in here. You're getting dust, helicopters, pieces of leaves, all kinds of stuff on there. If that gets plugged up, if those holes get plugged up, that drain, it will not drain properly, and that water will back up. It can come in a lot of different places, and it can cause puddles on your floor. It could cause marks on your headliner, maybe even on this molding down here on the A-pillar. And you think that windshield's leaking, and that's not really the case. So don't assume that you have a windshield problem. Let a professional look at it and give you some ideas, because this can be relatively easy to clean out. And if we can do that, you can save yourself a lot of headache. You're not fighting mold and things like that. So it's a huge deal. But if nobody shows you how it works, you just don't know. And that's what we're trying to do with these Facebook Live videos. Also, if you have a pickup truck, let's look at one other thing while we're out the shop. If you have a truck and you don't have a sunroof, you can take it to a shop, and we may be looking for a water leak, but so many of today's vehicles have this third brake light. And the way that it mounts to the back of the cab, there's a gasket between this light and the cab. This works the exact same way. That gasket is supposed to keep water out. But if this works its way loose, or this gasket becomes dry rotted, water can get inside there and work its way in and also look like a leak. So as you can see, there are a lot of different things that can cause problems that you think are going to be glass related. Maybe they're not. There's a chance you could have a glass problem, but in most cases, this is something that is relatively easy to diagnose and easy to fix. Just food for thought, that's not something you necessarily want to try to clean out yourself. There are tubes that run through the headliner that hook up onto those drains, and if you were to dislodge or pull one of those tubes loose, you can actually make it worse. So don't try to do it yourself. Get it to a shop, let them look at it and help you, and hopefully this solves a lot of problems, and at the very least, at least you know a little bit more than you did before we started. So if you have questions, if you want to see something new, please leave it in the comments, and thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.